Hey guys, Immersed here. Welcome to an Affliction Warlock PvP guide. So why do we choose Affliction? Affliction is extremely strong damage dealing spec in player versus player just because of the amount of dots we have, the amount of dots we can spread, the self-healing we have, the control we have over enemies, and just the pure insane damage we can do. Alright, so having said that, let's just jump right into our talents. We have Dark Regeneration, restores 30% of you and your pet's maximum health and increases all healing received by 25% over 12 seconds. This is a very, very good defensive PvP talent. I would highly recommend this. And also guys, remember, increase all healing received by 25%. This also includes your health stone, which you have 3 charges of, which is an extremely, you can get your health back almost to 100% very quickly with this and your health stone combined. We have Soul Leech, your Malefic Grasp, Drain Soul, or Haunt spell, heals you and your pet for 20% of the damage dealt. Very, very good, and it's a passive. You don't need to worry about it, just does its business on its own. The one I picked is Harvest Life, drains the life from all enemies within 15 yards of the target, causing 3,233 shadow damage, and restoring 3 to 4.5 of the caster's total health every 0.89 seconds, lasts for 5.34 seconds. Now, Affliction Warlocks are the only spec of Warlock that has Soul Burn, and what Soul Burn does when you use Harvest Life is healing increased by 33%. So that is very, very good. And again, guys, I'm going to stress this in every single one of my videos I make, at least tutorial guides going into my specs and glyphs. This is not the PvP cookie cutter build. This is my build. This is a Merciless build. Because my playstyle, I don't just PvP, I don't just PvE, I solo raids, I solo dungeons, I farm, I quest a little bit, I do PvE and PvP, so I try and have a happy medium between everything. So that's where I picked Harvest Life. It's a very good AoE, it does a lot of damage, it ticks very frequently, and when you soul burn, the healing is absolutely amazing. As you can see in some of my old Affliction Warlock videos, I did actually drain tank like this with some fights. I did go down eventually, but there was one fight in particular, a hunter, that did not manage to get me down because I was Harvest Life tanking. So that is very good. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my entire talent. I'll come back and I'll tell you guys what I would do if I was strictly a PvP Affliction Warlock. Howl of Terror, howl causing 5 enemies within 10 yards to flee in fear for 20 seconds. Damage caused may cancel Howl of Terror. When hit by a damaging attack, the cooldown of Howl of Terror is reduced by 1 second. Very, very good. Very good for Affliction Warlock. Back in BC I had this. It was a very powerful spell. And it's good for an Affliction Warlock just because if you have 4 or 5 melee classes on you, you could soul burn, soul swap them, get your dots up, and fear them and get away very quickly while they're still taking damage. Mortal Coil causes the enemy target to run in horror for 3 seconds. The caster restores 50% of the maximum health. This is very good, but I don't think between Shadow Fury and Howl of Terror, I would personally pick this if I was strictly a PvP Warlock. I'm in between this and this for PvP. But this is good for questing. It does have a low cooldown, and it does restore a good chunk of your health. It's just another spell to restore your health. Shadow Fury is my personal favorite. Shadow Fury is unleashed, stunning all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. Why this is so good, if I have 3 warriors coming into me, if I have a warrior druid, or, if I have a group of enemies, I can shadow burn, soul swap, soul burn them, and they will all be taking damage from my dots, and I will not have to worry about them charging at me. I have 3 seconds to dot everyone within the circle, so that is very, very good, and I just prefer this for my playstyle. Going down, we have Dark Bargain, prevents all damage for 8 seconds. When the shield fades, 50% of the damage prevented is dealt over 8 seconds. Very, very good for PvP. That 8 seconds in PvP is a lifetime. It's very good. I would definitely recommend this for PvP Affliction Warlocks. Sacrificial Pack, your demon sacrifices half its current health to shield its master for 200% of the sacrificed health. Lasts 10 seconds. If you have no demon, your health is sacrificed instead. I would personally go with this one. If I was a PvP Affliction Warlock, this is a very powerful spell. But as you're going to see my current spec, I do not have a pedo, and I'm going to show you why in just a second here. So what I did, I went with Soul Link. When I do have my pedo, when active, all damage and healing you and your demon take is shared but your demon's health is reduced by 50%. Recasting the spell cancels the effect. Now that I'm reading this, I may actually go to Sacrificial Pact just because I have Grimoire of Supremacy right now. Earlier I had Grimoire of Sacrifice rather. Earlier I had Grimoire of Supremacy, so I will probably switch over Sacrificial Pact and see how that plays in PvP. But Soul Link, when you do have a pet, as I do when I'm questing, it's very, very good. Because all damage and healing you and your pet take is shared. My disclaimer for this spell is be careful with it. That's the only, it's a very powerful spell, but if your demon is going down and you're in the clear, uncast it, because if your demon goes down, you go down. So it's a very, very iffy spell, and you really have to know how to use it. Go with Sacrificial Pact, in my opinion. It has a 1 minute opposed to a 3 minute. And, if you don't have a demon like I don't, and we're going to go ahead and use this, and a little bit of health is lost, you're going to self-heal up, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute here. Unbound Will, purge all magic effects, movement impairing effects, and all effects which cause loss of control of your character with a 1 minute cooldown, but it costs 20% of your maximum health. This is a very good spell with a low cooldown considering what it can do, but you have to be careful, make sure you're at good health, or you have a healer around you, or your health stone is off of cooldown to use it right after this, because once you use this, health stones instantly restore 20% maximum health, so it would really be a free spell if you kept using your health stone right after. Burning Rush drains 4% of your maximum health per second to increase your movement speed by 50%. I personally have this just because of my playstyle. I really enjoy it. Also, if that PvP target just got out of range, you could use this. Go ahead and dot it and you're good to go. Instantly strike fear in the enemy, causing it to flee for up to 20 seconds. Blood Fear, the instant fear, the Warlock. Bread and butter for PvP fear. It's amazing. Always, always, always get this if you're PvPing, in my opinion. And we have Grimoire of Sacrifice. You sacrifice your demon to gain one of its abilities, increase the power of many of your single target spells by 50%, increase your maximum health by 20%, and regenerates 2% of your maximum health every 5 seconds. It lasts for 1 hour. Summoning another demon cancels this effect, so this looks like this. As you can see, my health right now is 146. We're going to go ahead and sacrifice our Fell Hunter and get Spell Lock. There we go. We still keep Spell Lock. Our health now is 175 without any other buffs. That is extremely high. Once you start adding Fortitude, Kings even, potions, food buffs, you're going to go up there real quick. Alright, so if I had to tell you guys my honest opinion, the best PvP Affliction Warlock spec you can have, it would take part with Dark Regeneration, Howl of Terror, Sacrificial Pact, Blood Fear, and Grimoire of Sacrifice. In my personal opinion, that would be my utter PvP Warlock spec. So if you guys try that spec and it works for you guys, I am really happy. Alright, let's go on to my glyphs right here. While off of cooldown, your Dark Soul ability passively grants you 10% of the active effect, but reduces the power of Dark Soul by 10%. So we have increase your spell haste by 3%. This is very good because our dots tick quicker, and it's just, haste is extremely important for Affliction Warlocks. We also have Everlasting Affliction, increase the duration of unstable affliction, corruption, and agony by 50%, and reduce our damage by 20%. I got this because I move around quite a bit as an Affliction Warlock, and I do get out of range sometimes of my targets that I'm not 100% chasing down or trying to finish off. So this keeps them in combat, keeps them out of stealth if they are a feral druid, it keeps them out of stealth if they're a rogue that blew their cloak. So I just prefer this. I also have Glyph of Soul Shards, increase your maximum Soul Shards by 1, so I have 4 instead of 3. Very, very good, just because you can Soul Burn, Soul Swap 4 times instead of 3. Another one you can get is Glyph of Curse of Exhaustion. Curse of Exhaustion now reduces the target's movement speed by 70%, lasts half as long, and has a 10-second cooldown. I don't personally have that. I find my Curse of Exhaustion 30% for 30 seconds works absolutely fine. If you are an Affliction Warlock but you are a Demon Warlock at heart, you can have Demon Training, and it just basically gives your Imp's Firebolt casting is reduced by 50% and fires in bursts of 3. Increase your Voidwalker's total armor by 10. Your Succubus's Seduction ability also removes all overtime effects. When your Fel Hunter uses Devour Magic, you will also be healed for that amount, and Felguard doesn't have anything to do with this. If you're a PvE Warlock, which this is not the guide for, but just pointing this out, your Fear causes the target to tremble in place, but now has a 5-second cooldown, so that's very good. Okay guys, here is a lot of the self-healing. Here's where it comes from. Your Corruption spell will heal you for 20% of the damage dealt. If you Soul Burn Sea of Corruption in a big group, everyone will be affected by your Corruption, therefore you're going to get 20% of every Corruption tick. Also, if you Soul Burn Soul Swap 4 targets, that's 4 Corruptions up on the target. And that is quite a lot of healing in and of itself right there, and that will go great with Dark Regeneration and Sacrificial Pact to get that health back. So my minor glyphs are Glyph of Verdant Spheres. Your soul shards are transformed into Verdant Spheres, which are the green spheres. Your Felseed and Dreadseed can cross water while running and leave a trail of flame. Very good for blacksmith rushes, very good for initial AB decisions on the Warlock's part, very good for questing and traveling in general. Also very good for escaping or doing blitzkriegs, basically frontal, very quick attacks. You don't need to get slowed down by the water. So that's very good. We also have the Eye of Kilrog glyph, and what that does is your Eye of Kilrog is no longer stealth and can now place you Demonic Circle. In addition, the movement speed of your Eye of Kilrog is increased by 50% and allows it to fly in areas where flying mounts are enabled. Very, very good, very powerful minor glyph. I highly recommend that. And this is another one you guys can get if you so choose. When Unstable Affliction is removed, it instantly deals critical damage to both the target and the Dispeller, but no longer silences. I prefer the silence over the crit. The crit can be healed. The silence shuts down that target for quite a while. Alright, so again we're just going to talk a little bit about my professions, what they give to me. So basically with enchanting I can enchant my rings, which I don't have enchanted right now. but I'll show you guys what we can enchant with. We could do intellect by 40 on both of our rings, going into tailoring, but I do have 56 PvP power on my cloak. We could do right here, increase your intellect by 580 for 15 seconds when casting a spell. Very, very good. So that's why I just picked those spells and those professions rather, and I just really wanted my Warlock to be my Enchanter and Tailorer. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about our spells. We do have Rain of Fire as an Affliction Warlock. I find that kind of bizarre coming from a Demonology Warlock. And yeah, it just doesn't feel 100% right yet. Just because we're Shadow, we're not 100% Fire, but that's just the old patch mentality speaking right now. We have Drain Soul. Drains the soul of the target, causing 3,267 shadow damage every 1.78 seconds, and energizing one soul shard after it deals damage twice. If the target dies, the three soul shards are energized, last 10.68 seconds. If the target is at or below 20% health when Drained Soul deals damage, it deals 100% additional damage and causes all of your other periodic affliction damage effects to instantly deal 150% of their normal periodic damage. This is our execute phase. And as soon as that target hits 20%, use it. There's no excuse. Use Drained Soul. It lasts long and it hits really hard. It's an awesome, awesome spell. Another Affliction Warlock spell we have is Curse of Exhaustion, which is very good for warriors, feral druids, guardian druids, rogues, death knights. Anything that wants to get close to you, use this on them, and they're going to have a really hard time doing that. Reduces the target's movement speed by 30% for 30 seconds. If you soul burn and use this in a group, if you're AoE farming, they made this very easy for us, guys. Your Curse of Exhaustion soul burn effect will affect all enemies in a 10-yard radius around your target. So if you pull 50 people, technically you should be able to kill them because this does last for 30 seconds. So that's very good. We have, so Rain of Fire is our AoE, Drain Soul is our execute, Curse of Exhaustion is our mobility. We have Banish, good against other warlocks, get rid of their pets. Enslaved Demon is basically just for being out in the world in dungeons. Grimoire of Sacrifice, I went over, it's basically, so what this does for me is it increases my damage from my Malefic Grasp, Drain Soul, Haunt, and Fell Flame by 50%. That is a lot of damage. So my Fell Flame now deals almost 10,000 damage, so that's very, very good. Alright guys, our two favorite spells is Affliction, Warlock. Soulburn consumes a soul shard, unlocking the hidden power of your spells. Soulburn, Summon Demon has a 60 second cooldown rather, sorry about that. So, Summon Demon is instant. Drain Life, which is Harvest Life, will heal more. Health Funnel, which I do not have the glyph for. And I think that's the only way you get Health Funnel. Yep. I think Health Funnel would just heal more. Curses, it affects everybody in a 10-yard radius of the selected target. Seed of Corruption, at detonation, your Seed of Corruption will affect all the targets around that target with corruption on the enemy. We also have Unending Breath, which allows us to walk on water. And Soul Swap, which instantly applies corruption, unstable affliction, and agony. So it's very important, one, to keep an eye on your soul shards. Once you get to 2 or 1 rather, look for a Drain Soul Execute and get all 3 back up. Alright, so Soul Swap. You instantly deal 4,088 damage and remove your shadow damage over time effects from the target. For 20 seconds afterward, the next target you cast Soul Swap Exhale on will be afflicted by the shadow damage over time effects on and suffer 4,088 damage. You cannot Soul Swap the same target. So it basically takes your overtime shadow damage from one target, puts it on you as a buff, and then you can exhale as the same spell on another target to switch it. Good for PvE, pretty good for PvP too, but if you're looking for killing blows, just leave your dots on and look for the execute to refresh your soul shards. Fell Flame is very good. We're going to be using this when the target is moving and we are just in range. We can't stop to cast. Deals 9,197 Shadow Flame damage to an enemy and increases the duration of Corruption and Unstable Affliction by 6 seconds. And it appears we have a Starry Night. Okay. We're going to continue anyway. Where was I? Soul Shatter is no use in PvP. And as I've said, we have Soul Link. You got to be careful with that if you do have a pedo. We have Twilight Ward, absorbs 24,526 Shadow or Holy damage, lasting 30 seconds. Burning Rush, which increases our movement speed. And I did test this. If I left it on right now, you could not die from it. You just basically it's untoggled at really low health. Always have a health stone. It's very easy. It's very, it heals quite a lot. Unending Resolve, the Warlock hardens his skin, reducing all damage taken by 40% and preventing his spells from being interrupted or silenced for 8 seconds. Very, very good if you have a few people on you that are looking to silence you, especially during your your Soulburn Soul Swap phase. And believe me, as soon as they figure out your soul swapping, they will be looking for that silence. Soulstone, keep up on the PvP tank. If there's a flag carrier, keep it up on your healers around you, just so it can pop back up. Unless there are no healers, there is no tank, keep it up on yourself. But if there's a tank and a healer, unfortunately they do have priority over us. So, yeah, use it on them. It would help you in the end anyway. Life Tap restores mana, that's pretty simple. That's just my health stone where I put it. I have Killer, it's pretty simple, and Demonic Circle Summon and Teleport is pretty simple. Alright, let's move into our actual spells. Malefic Grasp binds the target in Twilight, causing 9,808 shadow damage over 3.56 seconds. Every 0.89 seconds when Malefic Grasp deals damage, it causes all your other periodic affliction damage effects to instantly deal 75% of their normal damage. This is our spammable Haunt. You send a ghostly soul into the target, dealing 21,460 shadow damage, increasing all damage done by your spells on the target by 25%. For 8 seconds. Very, very useful. Always keep this up as much as you can. Unstable Affliction. Shadow energy slowly destroys the target, causing 30,720 damage over 21.36 seconds. If the Unstable Affliction is dispelled, it will cause 17,920 damage to the dispeller and silence them for 4 seconds. Very useful. We have Corruption. Corrupts the target, causing 31,995 shadow damage over 26.70 seconds. Always keep these up. So spam Malefic Grasp, use Haunt, keep that up. Keep Unstable Affliction, Corruption, and Agony up. inflicts increasing agony on the target, causing 16,540 to 26,464 shadow damage over 35.60 seconds. This damage is dealt slowly at first and builds up each time it deals damage. Seed of Corruption used when we have to AoE. Embeds a demon seed in the enemy target, causing 14,195 shadow damage over 16.02 seconds. When the target takes 14,196 total damage from the caster or dies, the seed will inflict 7,439 shadow damage to all enemies within 15 yards of the target. Soulburn effect. Your Seed of Corruption detonation effect will inflict a corruption on all enemy targets. Very, very good. Always make sure you soulburn that before big AoE pulls or big PvP battles. Shadowburn we're going to use just to stun people, stun healers, try and force a trinket, then automatically cast Fear. Spell Lock is basically, if you have a mage, it's basically like a counter spell. Just use that to silence people. However, if used on a casting target, it will counter the enemy's spell cast, preventing any spell from that school of magic from being cast for 6 seconds. Wait for the heal, guys, and then interrupt. Fear is self-explanatory. You just fear the target. It's very good against healers, very good against high DPS targets that you know their trinkets are down. It's just an awesome spell. Curse of Enfeeblement. Put on anybody really, casters, melee, anyone with a cast. I'm healers for sure. If you come across a high health target or a tanking target, use Curse of Elements just to increase the damage you do by 5%. And Dark Soul Misery, use when use when you're going to spam Malefic Grasp and you have a few soul shards for your haunts, just to get a lot of that damage out there. Alright, so I basically went over control. We have Curse of Exhaustion to slow them down. Banish to banish the enemy warlocks minions. We have Shadow Burn to stun them for 3 seconds. Spell Lock to interrupt them. Fear to CC them. And we also have our Infernal. Don't forget about your Infernal, guys. This actually stuns them. So that is very, very good. Stunning all enemy targets in the area for 2 seconds. That's very good with a big radius, as you can see. Big, big, big radius. Alright, so what does a Affliction Warlock bring to the battle? Affliction Warlock brings a lot of damage, and I think it's the one class that can really stress a healer out in the sense of spreading his damage the quickest. Even a Fire Mage with Combustion, Living Bomb, Ignite, and a Pyroblast debuff, and then spreading that to everyone near him, I don't think would do as much damage as an Affliction Warlock can do to a group of people. You just need a few seconds of hard casting to really spread your dots, spread your damage to everyone in that area, and all that healer is going to see on his heal bot or his clique or his whatever he uses, grid, is every single enemy around him has unstable affliction. Every single enemy around him is taking increased damage. Every single enemy around him is dropping very quickly. And he only has 1 dispel. So I mean, and if he dispels it, he's silenced for 4 seconds. So it really ticks healers off. I could say that firsthand. Alright, let's take a look at our mastery. Increase the damage of agony, corruption, and unstable affliction by 63%. That is quite a lot. That is a lot of damage. So Mastery personally is my best friend on all of my classes, and Affliction Warlock is no different. Alright guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about Keybinding. Keybinding is very, very good for 2 spells in particular, and that's Soulburn and Soul Swap. If you watch my latest video for my Affliction Warlock, the speed at which I can spread my dots because I have my Soulburn and Soul Swap keybound is very, very quickly. I don't have to click on a target, click, 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 click on another target, click, click, and then I just go click, Shift D, Shift R, click, Shift D, Shift R. It's very, very quick, and as I've been saying in my guide so far, if you guys are looking to break into keybinds, quote unquote, and you just don't know how, and you don't want to, bind any spells yet, and you just want to test it and see if you like it or not, my tip is just bind a mount. As you can see right here, I have both of my mounts bound, my ground and my flying. Bind one of your mounts, get used to that keybind. I guarantee after 2 weeks you are going to get absolutely used to it. You're going to absolutely love it. It will be your favorite action bar button on your action bars. It was mine. I'm admitting that right now. I loved being able to not even mouse over it and just poof, I'm mounted. And then, as you see, gradually I just added more and more and more. So that's very useful. If you're looking to break into keybinds, as I said, bind one of your mounts, get used to it. It's extremely easy, extremely simple. Use your mouse buttons also. So I think that concludes this guide. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope it helped in some way. If it did, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It would greatly, greatly, greatly help me. Guys, we're almost at 100 subscribers. We can get there very quickly. We can get there. We can get there very, very fast. Let's get to 100 subscribers. Alright, so thank you guys very, very much for watching. I will be bringing out another tutorial, another 2 or 3 tutorial videos tomorrow. And for the gentleman who asked for the Destruction Warlock, I'm sorry I couldn't do it today. I had a pretty busy day. Tomorrow, for sure, I will be bringing out that Destruction Warlock PvP video. And I wish you guys the best, and thank you guys very, very much for staying subscribed and keep on viewing and keep up with the supporting me. Really means a lot. And as always, guys, happy hunting. Thank you very much.